Hatless Winker, episode 25. I should bring you that.
Forgot my hat.
I should bring you the water buffalo hat to wear.
I forgot my hat.
Probably noggin's too big.
Exactly. Yeah, forgot my hat at leading off.
You left it there? No.
I had a Marlins ball for you. Everything that they did is interesting. Talk about social distancing. They had these giant buckets of balls individually wrapped.
Oh, cool.
So the kids could play catch on the field. And so you grabbed your ball and wrapped it and you threw with your kid and then you kept the ball.
Oh, cool.
But I grabbed the next one for you.
Nice. So yeah, why don't you talk about that for a minute, what that experience was like. And then I'm going to talk about Saturday and Sunday's baseball games.
Let's do it. I've been to a lot of Marlins activities. When the stadium was being built, they would have open houses. I would go to all that stuff. And I think this was the coolest event we'd been to. I was reflecting on as my wife was in the batting cage taking live
throwing
pitch.
Pepper balls at her?
And she was nailing it, actually. She was really proud of herself.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that was, here we are on the field. They had batting cages set up on the field. You could throw pitches back in the bullpen. I'd actually never been in the bullpen.
Was that pretty cool, right?
It was great, man.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, the whole thing was great. One of the reasons it was great, it was very limited attendance, to get on the field. Like, nothing was crowded. There was no long lines. But yeah, what a great event. Great outreach by the Marlins. People were having a blast. It was funny, although I have a cultural observation. It was all these young families. It was a lot of young people. And it would seem like every mom had a COVID baby on her hip.
Yep.
I saw a lot of fresh babies.
Nice. Nice.
A lot of 3-month-old babies.
That's what happens when you stay home all day. For months at a time. You got nothing else to do. Look,
I think we may be having a baby.
I cut the grass 3 times today. What else am I going to do? Right?
So yeah, total success. I didn't see any players there. Because I guess and that game was Saturday night, right?
Yeah. And that was brutal. Gio, you want the hometown guy to do well. Now remember, the other day we had or maybe a couple weeks ago, one of the pitchers posted a 95 ERA. Well, no. Gio Gonzalez, 189.
189.
Went actually 1/3 of an inning, gave up 7 runs. It was pretty bad. I mean, that's the only reason we lost that game. We would have won 4-2 had not that implosion happened. But now you want the guy to be successful, but now I don't see a roster spot for him at all.
Yeah, what an outing. Well, I hope he gets another chance.
Look here, we got your wife chiming in on who has been the most exciting
great
player to
question.
watch. So I'm gonna segue into that right now because we did lose that game on Saturday to the Nationals 7-4, but then came back yesterday, won 4-2. Jazz Chisholm with a big home run. I think that guy's got to be one of the.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Or JJ Bleday. I like both.
It's boring radio to both agree on the same, but I saw shout out to Fish Stripes, another podcast, and they had a thing about saying that he has the highest exit velocity and the longest home run.
Yeah. And I think he pretty much shored up his spot at second base. Pretty much. I mean, unless something happens between now and next weekend. And then today we've got the Sandman's going, probably his second to last start before opening day. He'll probably pitch again next Saturday. And then you got 4 or 5 days in between before the first game.
And then today's game is, I think, the first game.
It's Flaherty.
But it's on Fox.
Fox Sports. Well, I think it's Bally's now they call it.
I know.
It's not even Fox
I don't think
Sports,
they've rebranded it yet. Bally's, Florida, whatever that. I guess is that the
casino?
The casino?
Yeah. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whatever. Yeah. So game 105 start today. Sandy going against Flaherty. Should be another good outing for him. I love Sixto on Saturday. That guy was lights out.
Yep.
And I think he's probably looking at a 3 or 4 hole as far as the rotation goes. Trevor Rogers yesterday definitely solidified his 5 spot. Pitched pretty good. Had a double. You don't see that often.
Yep. So for my wife, who's an Astros fan and all her friends, did you see what happened at the game on yesterday?
No, I was listening to it. I did.
So when Bregman was up, I guess one of the they said a fully uniformed Roger Dean Chevrolet Roger Dean Stadium staff member had a giant trash can and just banged it the entire time Bregman was up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't even stand those guys though. I mean, Houston. Ugh. Gross.
Another question from Christina Hernandez.
Are all the pitching positions filled? Let's talk about that. Sandy, number 1, Pablo Lopez, Eleazar Hernandez, Sixto, Trevor Rogers.
All righties.
I think Rogers is 11.
I'm sorry. Yeah, wait, exactly. No, Rogers has solidified a spot as our one.
I think so.
I got to tell you something. Being the one lefty on that staff, he's going to be put in some interesting situations, I think.
For sure. And then the bullpen, I think, is pretty solid with you got Yimi Garcia out there, and then all the guys that they signed. Bass had a great save yesterday. That guy's, I think, between him and Yimi Garcia, those are going to be the closers. Floro played much better than he did in his first outing yesterday. But then you got Detweiler, Simber got the win yesterday against Houston.
That's the sidewinder.
Yeah, from Cleveland. So I think we're going to be loaded in the bullpen. Let's just hope we don't have any injuries where we have to worry about that. But I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife
because they hate Houston, and particularly
Houston,
that guy.
We have, it's like the couple of our things. The true, we oh my God, what's his name from the ESPN that just left? Not Stu Gotz's.
Dan Lebitard.
Dan Lebitard. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name already. Dan Lebitard would always say, "What do we know to be true?"
Right.
And one thing we know to be true is the hated Braves.
Right.
The hated Atlanta Braves. And the other thing we know to be true is that the Astros are
cheating,
unrepentant
cheaters. Right.
And so
right. There's your answer. That's why they do. Where are the weaknesses? I would say catcher. Catcher is the weakness. If Alfaro bounces back, he had a rough season last year, and that's why Walsh came in and played during postseason. But if he returns to his form, I think they're going to be better at catcher. But that is the weakest position, I think. Or maybe shortstop. Because Rojas, his spring hasn't been that great. Been
with
rough.
The bat.
Yeah, with the bat. So, and some errors, too. Some errors that you wouldn't expect from him. So, I mean, there's pressure on, because really Jazz Chisholm is a natural shortstop.
It's a great question, because that's what, when I think it was Kelly Sacco who said, when we were going to the team, was like, where is the weakness? And at the time we were all saying, like, I don't know, like, what's the weakest spot? And I agree with you. It's probably catcher and short right now.
Right.
Outfield, we'll probably hit on all cylinders.
Yeah. He's starting to come around.
Because if someone isn't playing well, they're going to get put down. And
JJ Bleday is going to play.
Exactly. So I think we got that covered. So
yeah. What does it take to be a great catcher?
Oh,
there are a lot of things there. I mean, you got to be able to frame him. You got to be able to know the guy that you're dealing with on the mound. And then you got to be able to play some defense back there.
Yeah.
Catch some guys running. And
listen,
and
there's
defense.
nothing as hard as being a quarterback, but being a catcher is real tough. I mean, it's interesting. It's a position, to me. The way I always think about baseball is like, if I had a kid who's good at baseball, you try to turn him into a catcher, like almost like
right.
It's like you're either a pitcher or a catcher, and if you're not good at that, let's put you do something else. Like
right.
Like if a kid has that, to me, one of the weird things about being a catcher is you got to have the durability, and you got to have the explosiveness. Like I think about Pudge.
Yeah.
Pudge had that fast twitch muscle that just, like, he could throw people out. He was one of the most likable people, which is a weird requirement to be a catcher, but you got to get along with, you're going to have 10 different personalities as pitchers.
Right.
And you got to get along with all of them. You got to understand them intuitively. You got to work them. Like the pitchers are more like, they're like racehorses. They're like thoroughbreds. They're really high strung. And if you go out there and do something that annoys them, it'll throw them off.
Yeah. Throw them off their game.
You got to know their idiosyncrasies and stuff. So, and I think also there's just a shortage of catchers. I mean, that's the answer, is why it's hard to be a catcher. It's just like, it's hard to have it's interesting because you're seeing it in hockey. To bring up hockey again, it used to be the worst kid got put in goal.
Right. Now the most athletic guy.
Well, now they're realizing it's like, if you have a kid, being a goalie is just a great way to go through. Like if you have a kid, goalies are in short supply. And if a kid's a good athlete and can be a good goalie, you're putting them in there. So you're seeing the best skaters being put in goal now. Like it's an interesting thing. And I think catchers have, it's a lot more glamorous to be a pitcher now.
right,
than to be a catcher.
You mentioned Dan Lebitard. I read an article just the other day that Hank Azaria, Hank Azaria, that plays a bunch of characters on Family Guy and did the show Brockmire. They're going to bring Brockmire back as a podcast on the Dan Lebitard network, which I think is awesome.
That's cool.
Because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
that guy.
exactly. That guy's amazing.
He's amazing. So look, it's going to be the first time that we're going to be able to see real baseball today. Remember, we watched the ones on MLB.com where the view was like way up behind the. I don't even know where that view was.
A GoPro on the roof.
Yeah,
it was
exactly. And it wasn't even zoomed in. It's terrible. Today we're going to get to see it again. So 105 start.
I was thinking about baseball the other day when we went in to sign in with our MLB app. My wife was showing the thing, and she had the wrong tickets up, and the guy's like, "That's opening day." Like, oh my God, opening day is right around the corner.
It's only 10 days from now?
Yep.
It's going to be good. Going to be good. So Sandy going today at 105. People watch it. Marlins Nation, get out there and watch the skip work for go to the Deli Lane Sunset Tavern for lunch and stay and have watch a little baseball.
One of the reasons I messed up on my hat today is I was going to bring my I'm volunteering out at the tennis tournament. So I have my tennis tournament hats. And the tennis tournament starts today.
Okay.
Which is just another sign of the return of normalcy, right? 20% crowd.
Okay.
No stadium court. The grandstand is now the biggest court. Limited seating. But we're having a tennis tournament.
There you go.
Which is really cool. I mean, I think we're starting to get back.
Is that on TV the first round or no?
Well, it's all on. Yes, everything is on tennis.
The tennis channel.
But yeah, it's up. I just it's interesting just from a think about all those players flying to town. It's like not that we need more people right now this time of year, but it's just another sign of our return to normalcy. The tournament got canceled last year, right on a week before or 3 days before the tournament was going to happen.
Right.
It was in March, right when it happened. So
sports are coming back.
Sports coming back.
Yep. All right. Episode 25's in the books. Thanks, Denise.
Have a great week.
Preview.